Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the enhanced mempool performance for Kaspa on the Rusty Kaspa testnet. So this isn't for the mainnet, this is for the Rusty Kaspa testnet. Now the reason that this is actually important is because we're trying to educate people on how Kaspa works and what it is going forward in terms of updates to the network, and obviously the main one being Rusty Kaspa. So if you don't know, this is where it will take the blocks per second from 1 block per second over to at least 10 blocks per second, with the hope of going up to 32 blocks per second and further in the future. So making the throughput of the network very, very high, and we can process transactions on a much larger scale than what Kaspa is doing right now. So the reason that the mempool performance is important is because normally a memory pool will hold transactions and only one component of the whole network can access it at the same time. Now this update is only for the testnet 11, however, obviously when Rusty Kaspa comes in on the actual mainnet, this will be part of that actual update. So here is an actual explanation of why this mempool performance is enhanced and how it works. This is from one of the Kaspa developers. So he says he wants to explain the meaning of this update and why it's significant. In short, the mempool is where nodes store pending transactions. When a miner creates a block, they choose the TNX included therein for the mempool. When the demand is higher than the supply, the mempool grows. So we have an example of a mempool here. We have a Bitcoin memory pool. Now this goes up considerably when we have more usage on the network because more transactions are going through. So that's basically what a memory pool is. It's a place to store the transactions and then get them processed. Hence, a key requirement for high throughput, which is what Kaspa is focusing on in this Rusty testnet. Network is handling the mempool remains efficient even when there are many pending transactions. So this means you want a high throughput network, plus you want the mempool to remain efficient and not lag behind, because then it will create blocks inefficiently, if that makes sense. While miners are the ones to eventually include transactions, this is a concern for all nodes, since all nodes maintain a mempool and transmit TNXs to each other so that they will quickly reach all miners. During the first testnet 11 phase, we noted and expected that the mempool is very considerable bottleneck. So obviously with such high throughput of the 10 blocks per second, the bottleneck lies in the mempool because of the amount of transactions going into there. Queues of as few as several thousand TNXs would become unwieldy and make the process of block creation inefficient, causing lags in block creation that had adverse effects on the network and even causing some nodes to shut down. So it's about the processing of these transactions. It becomes very inefficient for blocks just because the mempool kind of gets full with so much transactions that the network is pushed back a little bit, and it will affect other parts of the network, as they said, such as nodes. This bottleneck was expected because the mempool implementation is monolithic, a term in a multi-thread programming, which essentially means that once one component of the program is using the mempool, all other components that need the mempool have to wait their turn. So basically a node might be using the mempool and then have to export out to a miner to use the mempool. No two parts of the program can access the mempool at the same time, regardless of how huge it is. This monolithic structure contradicts the high parallelism approach that makes Rusty Kaspa so efficient. Even though there are many threads sharing the work, when they have to do any task related to the mempool, they all wait their turn, essentially becoming a single thread again. So there's a bunch of components to the network, such as nodes, that would wait their turn to be actually accessing the mempool. Now the whole point of this update is to fix this and redesign it, as we can read on here. To fix this, Michael Sutton and TRAM88 completely redesigned the mempool logic and made it concurrent. This is that they rewrote the logic in a way that enables many workers access to the mempool at the same time. In a previous thread, Michael Sutton provided benchmarks that show this new design can carry up to 600,000 pending transactions without a significantly affecting the performance. One of the goals of the next phase of testnet 11 is to observe these benchmarks in a real-world condition. So this is actually a huge thing for the Kaspa or Rusty Kaspa network, and if it plays out very well, which we could see in the next testnet phase, it would be a huge achievement for the Kaspa network plus all the devs that have been working on this, just because it's kind of a revolutionary thing to put this all into one single access to the memory pool at the same time. So if you do want to check out how this logic works, or at least how the architecture of the mempool performance works, I'll leave the GitHub linked in the description below. It's the pull request 226 in the Rusty Kaspa of the Kaspa.net GitHub. And it basically just goes through how it is going to put them in unison so that everything can access the memory pool at the same time. Now, there might still be some optimization that could go into this. It's definitely not fully flushed out. However, we'll see optimization in the future. This is just the concept that we need to put into use, and we can test the network on testnet 11. So the only way that I could see any innovation on top of this would be completely redesigning the mempool, or having it not exactly a mempool, something different to a memory pool. However, I don't think that's going to be figured out anytime soon. So this is great news for the Kaspa update, and we'll obviously be reviewing it in the testnet 11 phase, the next one that comes up, and we'll see how this works out in terms of the memory and transactions going through. I believe it will definitely handle very well, but as I said, there's still some optimization to happen throughout this enhanced mempool performance. So that's just a quick little update. Just wanted to educate you guys on what's in the future of Kaspa and some new things and big things that are coming for the testnet 11 phase. So make sure you like the video and subscribe for more content like this.